Welcome back to another episode of the MiniBrute cookbook tutorial series that I'm doing, where we go through the cookbook, we try out the recipes, see how they taste, see how they flavor. So today's episode is Wichita's Lead by J.M. Blanchett. This is a soft lead inspired by the sound Lyle May used on As Falls Wichita, So Falls Wichita Falls. Being that little tidbit of information was in the cookbook already, I went and tracked the song down, listened to it, to try to figure out what sound exactly they're talking about. Based on what I heard in the song, somewhere in like the 5 to 8 minute mark, it's like a 20-minute song. The song drops down, and then there's this kind of fluty thing in the background. And I don't know what Lyle May did to make his sound. We're just going to go by the sound and see what, how close we can get. This is a sound that I came up with. I don't think I really got what J.M. Blanchett was going for here, but I got something usable, and we're going to walk through and talk about what's happening as we go through. So as always, got to go back to a neutral patch. Put those aside. You go down. Okay, so we're going to need both oscillators. So what we're going to do today, we're going to actually tune these oscillators. Okay, so now that we have our oscillators tuned to each other, we're going to use maybe 2/3 of a saw wave in oscillator 1. We're going to use pretty much all of the triangle wave. I like to actually bring it down just a tiny bit. I like to kind of like mostly triangle, just a little bit of saw. That's just what my ear likes. I've gone through this already a couple times. Oscillator 2, we're going to use about 50% of it. And we're also going to switch that down into square. Okay, that way we kind of get a more rounded, I don't know, I feel like you get a more rounded tone that way, and being able to blend the two triangle and saw waves together with the square kind of gives you that nice kind of, it's like, it's still got some buzz, it has the smoothness, but it also has this, like, it's all the best characteristics of all three of them all put together into like a video gamey sound, and I'm here for it. Let's start making stuff happen. Right now, it's very, like, just clean and sterile. So what we're going to do is we're going to add some glide so that whenever we switch from note to note, we get a little kind of movement that comes with it, right? We're also going to use some frequency modulation. But, that's a little bit, maybe a little too much, right? So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take and adjust how much frequency modulation we actually get. So we're going to take to do that, we're going to take and do a little bit of creative routing here, okay? We're going to take the AD envelope, put it into attenuator 1, and then take that and put it into the output of attenuator 1 that's typically wired into the cutoff. We're going to patch it into FM instead. So now, as we bring the AD attack and decay envelopes up, not only does it affect the actual amplitude of the sound itself, oh, whoops, duh. Now we have to so now we can blend in how much of that how much of the AD envelope affects the FM, and that kind of gets you that, like, woo, it kind of, even though it glides still, it still has a little bit of that kind of initial pitch bendy kind of thing going on, and it kind of adds a little bit of a characteristic when the two of those sort of clash against each other. The pitch bend up from the FM, but then also the glide. And you can make it a little more pronounced if you want. Kind of give it a little sweep to what's happening. Speaking of sweeping, right? We can start adding the filter into the equation. So We're actually going to have it pretty low, pretty modest in this case. But we're going to crank that resonance, okay? And then you just have to tune to where the filter is open just enough to catch the tone, you know, the timbres that you want. But not everything, because we want... I mean, we kind of want the sharpness for the resonance, the sharpness of the oscillator for the resonance in the filter, but we don't really want it to come through on its own, because then it's not so much of a soft lead as it is. You know what I mean? It's not necessarily a hard lead either. It's just, you know, it is what it is. But by adding that filter in, oh, and also using the sustain all the way up, that allows the filter doesn't move. It just, when it's on, it's where it is. There's no attack and decay. It's not moving to get to where it needs to go. The FM's not engaged. It's just there. So basically, that's it. That's the sound. But there you go. There's pretty much the sound I think we're going for. Now you can adjust the FM. And the tuning of oscillator 2 ever so slightly to get a little bit of a warble in the sound. The sound that he made, that they're referencing, is a little more... it's got a little bit kind of a deeper modulation to it. I'm not exactly sure what's going on there. I wasn't able to isolate it and pull it out and, you know, run it through like a spectrum analyzer or anything. I'm not going that deep into it. I don't think I really got what J.M. Blanchett was going for here, but, you know, it's kind of like I'm very loosely just using that as a reference and going based off of the recipe, based on what my ears hear that I like. This is kind of what I'm coming up with. Now, your results will vary because your ear is different than mine. So, as always, experiment, play around, have fun, come up with what you think sounds good, and, you know, take a picture of it. Or you know, if you can take and get the lead or the default patch from the cookbook, and then you just put little marks. If you can just, like, you know, print it out, mark it up or whatever, you can make your own little preset book, you know, come up with your own ideas and figure out what you're trying to do and go from there, you know? So anyway, as always, have fun, be a good person. Yeah. Bye.